The night the film set wrapped, Rising lost at truth or dare. She chose dare. She had to French kiss one person in the room for 3 minutes. Her gaze, hot, hopeful, landed on Chase. He quietly peeled shrimp, unmoved. While everyone pitied the girl whose crush went unreturned, I alone noticed the veins bulging across the back of his hand. Sure enough, before Lana's first swallow of wine, Chase shoved to his feet. "This is insane." He yanked her up, the impact smashed their mouths together. The room froze, then screams tore the air. Only I stayed calm, chewing the shrimp I'd just popped in. Of course, it wasn't that I hated gossip. If the guy making out wasn't the boyfriend I'd kept secret for 5 years, I swear my shriek would have blown the roof off. Before we go on, please subscribe and tell us where you're listening from. Actors, top-tier actors, no surprise the kiss looked tender and full of longing. 5 minutes later, Lana pushed Chase away, blushing. "Zoe, don't read into it," she said to me. "Chase knows I can't hold my liquor." I swallowed my shrimp, expression blank, saying nothing. With dozens of people around, she picked me to not misunderstand. "Everyone here is razor sharp," the hint was enough. Rumor has long claimed Chase has a hidden girlfriend who stuck with him since his nobody days. Their bond is deep, but he's guarded it so well she's never been exposed. The air thickened. Chase spoke irritably. "Why explain to her? She's just a colleague at Vance, she doesn't run my life." He swept the room with a look. "It's only a game, laugh and let it pass. Right, Zoe?" An explanation, a warning. Lana's face blanched, she shot me a silent glare. So she knows about Chase and me. The bowl of peeled shrimp suddenly looked glaringly white. I slid it back where it came from. Smiling, I answered, "Game or not, it's your partners who should mind, not us." Then, "Sorry, folks, I've got somewhere to be. Leaving now. The shoot is done, I no longer have to play nice. I've seen enough of Lana's performances, on camera and off. I couldn't be bothered to spar. Yet someone insisted on being tiresome. When Lana chased me out, curiosity about her speech kept me from hurrying off. "Zoe, you know I know, don't you?" I frowned. "Speak human." Lana's face stiffened, but she didn't cry, I'll give her that. "Recently I've learned how much water a woman can hold." She inhaled. "I know you're Chase's secret girlfriend." I arched a brow. "And? So what? Haven't you seen these past months? He doesn't love you. You just showed up earlier and walked a rough stretch with him. Avery's loyal, breaking up embarrasses him. I hope you'll bow out gracefully." That made me laugh in fury. Homewreckers are this bold now? If you can steal my man, get him to dump me first. At least write me a check if you want me gone. You think shouting love is enough to make me step aside? Lana, you're not 3, stop the baby talk. You'll lose because you're a spoiled princess who never yields. Men want a soothing flower, not a man-eater. She looked down her nose at me. Pitiful, clinging to an old debt of gratitude. I pocketed my phone. I'd stayed quiet only to spare the production bad press, but quiet isn't weak. Wait till you actually replace me, then gloat. Till then, you sound ridiculous. I changed my flight and prepared to leave that night. While I waited at Riverdale, Chase called. "Where are you?" "Assistant just checked, your room's empty." "You're back early, right?" "Something came up, I left first." "What could be more important?" "We agreed to fly tomorrow." "Since when do you swap flights without asking?" He paused, half explaining, "You're still mad about tonight?" "I told you, it was only a game." Lana's acute gastroenteritis landed her in hospital, remember? I didn't want a stupid game sending her back, remember? How could I forget? The day Lana kept blowing takes, I spent the afternoon plunging into an ice-cold pool in sub-zero weather. He's the one forgetting. He forgot I burned with fever that night, dialing him again and again, unanswered. Forgot I woke alone in the ER and bumped into him spoon-feeding her. They looked perfectly at ease. I fled. Maybe my silence annoyed him. His voice sharpened. "Say something. Kissing is part of the job. Since when do you even care?" I reminded him, "Chase, life isn't the set. On set you can kiss whomever, 100, 1,000 times. Off set you kiss only your girl, your wife." Tie fabric scraped over the phone, he must be drunk, tugging at his collar. His temper flared. "Zoe, we're not civilians. A great actor can't wall off fiction and reality. You can't freak out over every kiss. Once the drama airs we'll promote it together. Will you throw tantrums then? Turn around now and I'll chalk it up to a mood. Otherwise, Chase, who are you talking to for so long?" Lana's voice drifted in, soft but unmistakable. I glanced at the terminal clock, 11 p.m. Far from the first time. They shop together, show up in each other's rooms after midnight, answer each other's phones, ask, and it's work. Get upset, and I'm immature. Yet over 3 months on location girlfriend and fellow Vance talent, never spent a private moment with him, never even saw his suite. All business passed through calls or assistant. So much for protecting me, he simply couldn't be bothered. Chase, why is Lana in your room? Is that Zoe? Lana cut in. I came to apologize. Tonight upset you, Chase is worried. I laughed. Apologize, yet you go to my boyfriend's room? You knew it would piss me off, so why tongue kiss him? Is someone else's guy automatically tastier? I'm sorry. Of everyone there, he's the one I know best. Her voice cracked. We're actors, I didn't think you'd take it so hard. I could picture her, delicate, wounded, on the verge of tears. A few more words and she'd flood the room, the perfect tragic heroine. Then Chase would become her white knight and blame me. I could already hear his soothing murmurs mixing with her sniffling. Suddenly it all felt pointless. I didn't know what I was still clinging to. The gate announcement echoed overhead. I spoke into the phone, then powered it off and walked away, leaving them to listen or not. Chase, we're done. Lana, congrats, go ahead and dumpster dive. Chase and I had beautiful years once. Back then I'd defied my parents for the dream and the freedom of Hollywood. Every year, hordes of kids flood Hollywood chasing the same dream. All I had going for me was a pretty face, and this town already stockpiles gorgeous. So I drilled the dance routines harder than anyone and devoured every acting book I could find. Most nights the rehearsal room was empty except for me and Chase. We weren't equals, though. He'd graduated from a top conservatory, one of those God hand feeds talent prodigies. Bad luck dogged him, every film or series he shot seemed to vanish before it could air. Ellis, a pair of cast-offs, we traded pep talks and cheap coffee until we crawled out of the gutter together. Young love is pure oxygen, clean, flammable. We matched playlists, swapped day one goals, finished each other's sentences. Friendship turned romance felt inevitable. Vance crammed its trainees into the same high-rise, so we played house behind coded glances. Company policy screamed, no fraternizing, so he bribed the entire floor with takeout, every dish secretly my favorite. I learned to simmer soup, ladling it into paper bowls whenever he staggered in after late shoots. We mapped futures, mine, his, always overlapping. Then the tabloid circus arrived. Ellis, we tightened the cloak, different exits, separate cars, burner phones. He finally bought a place in the hills, I moved to a condo across town. Same city, different zip codes, our version of long distance. He teased that I was the jealous type, forever fact-checking the rumors splashed across TMZ. Truthfully, in the last 2 years I saw him less than I did during this current shoot. I'm grateful I accepted this role. It cleared the fog. Love isn't declared in interviews, it's proven in choices. Once a man is tainted, you walk. I gave myself the only pep talk I needed, heart closed, engines on, time to conquer set life. After a few days of hibernation I FaceTimed Emery. Emery, when do we start Director He series? Is the schedule locked? Background noise swallowed her voice, she relocated before answering. Did you piss Chase off on set? I blinked. Not that I know of. Our 5-year undercover relationship had been airtight, and Emery juggled a dozen clients, she assumed we were strangers. Then blame heat. I got the call this morning, Vance yanked the part, she dropped to a whisper. You prepped for months, so I pushed back. Studio said it was Chase's personal swap. His A-lister weight moves mountains. Replacement? Best friend of Lana, looks like Chase and Lana are about to go public, otherwise he never meddles. I waited for the explosion. Instead, ice pooled in my chest. Got it, Jordan. Chase wanted an invoice, leave him, lose everything. He wouldn't beg, wouldn't bend. Too bad he never read me right. Acting was my dream, not my oxygen. Bucket list checked, I could exit. My phone buzzed. I picked up swinging. If you need a favor, you owe me one first. Let me guess, you've upset Mom again, or she shoved another matchmaking dinner at you? Neither. Your adorable sister might be unemployed. Handsome brother, mind funding a kept woman? A low laugh rumbled through the speaker. Deal. I've got cash to burn. Come home, Evelyn and I are sparring, need the family referee. Roger that, booking my flight now. Your love life whisperer lands by 4. I snapped the SIM that held only Chase's number and texted Emery my forwarding address. Then I packed for indefinite sibling dependency. Back home I boycotted news and Twitter. My calendar alternated between mall raids with Evelyn and marathon gaming in pajamas. Dylan finally snapped and dragged me to a Sterling gala, still owed him for thawing his wife. The third time he accidentally introduced me to some hedge fund prince, I snapped. "Since when are you a matchmaker?" He rolled his eyes. Evelyn's prescription, new guy equals memory wipe. Besides, dumping Chase, a man allergic to commitment, should feel like winning the lottery. "Stop moping, you're stressing my wife." I stared at my heels. "How did you even know we broke up?" "History, kiddo. Each time Chase had a tabloid rumor, he'd feed you 2 sentences and you'd sprint to his door. This time we've got airport candids, matching outfits, everything, and you haven't WhatsApped him once. Ergo, corpse of relationship. Good riddance. If a man won't claim you and keeps his zipper social, he's garbage. True love should be loud. Look at me and Evelyn. Saw her, chased her, told the world, ringed her. Done." I mirrored his eye roll. Big brothers never tire of their own highlight reels, yet personalities differ. Dylan's fireworks exhaust me. I fell for Chase's quiet steadiness instead. "Then why is Evelyn still mad?" I asked. Mr. Perfect blinked, words stuck, laughter frozen in his throat. A smooth chuckle cut in. We pivoted. "Pierce, back in the States and no heads up?" my brother barked. "Wanted the surprise. You Sinclairs remain comedy gold." I almost snorted. Being called interesting never feels like praise. Dylan slapped Pierce's back, bro code thick. "Staying for good?" "Yep, easing into Vance's cockpit. Catch up later. Tonight I'm sourcing boyfriends for Zoe." Pierce's gaze slid to me. "Miss Sinclair is single, then?" We'd grown up in parallel. His legend terrorized my report cards. My reflex, flee the room when rumors said Pierce is here. Hearing my adult name on his tongue rebooted childhood panic. Before I could signal Dylan to shut up, the big mouth beamed. "Freshly dumped, moping at home. Know any prospects?" I wanted to vanish. A kept woman still owns pride, apparently not at Sterling parties. Pierce's eyes darkened, thoughtful. "What about me?" Dylan lit like Christmas, my heart flatlined. "Pierce, the Uber Fox? One swipe and I'd be checkmate for life." I whipped my head side to side so fast my earrings chimed. "No way, absolutely no way." My brother, traitor incarnate, laughed. "Pierce, if your standards are that low, I'd have auctioned her off years ago." With that, he gave me a shove. "Then I'm leaving my little sister in your hands. I've got to get home to my wife." He glanced back and shot me a warning glare. "Zoe, make it count. This is the finest asset in my entire network. Consider yourself lucky." Completely ignoring whether I lived or died, he swaggered off. I shook my fist at his retreating back, wrinkling my nose and crossing my eyes. The moment I turned around, I collided with Pierce's dazzling smile. My heart actually skipped a beat. That face, when it smiled, it was downright supernatural. Letting him stay out of Hollywood would be a crime against humanity. We spent the rest of the evening making awkward small talk, exchanged numbers at the end, and went our separate ways. To be precise, he dropped me off first, then headed home. I camped out at my brother's place for a few more days of kept woman luxury until Mom returned from her trip and summoned me back. Right on cue, Pierce, who'd gone radio silent since we'd swapped contacts, asked me to dinner that night. I claimed I had to spend time with my parents and turned him down. I'd barely walked through their door when Mom's phone rang. The way she cooed Pierce, Sweetie told me all hope was lost. Sure enough, the second she hung up she started shooing me out. Quick, go home and change. Honestly, child, if you've got plans with Pierce, just say so. Off you go, don't keep him waiting. Your father and I don't need babysitting. If you land that boy, I'll laugh in my sleep. Dad snorted from the sofa. Which Pierce is worth my daughter running after? The Vance boy, Pierce? Dad sprang up, all indignation gone. Zoe, you actually picked the one flower no one thought would ever drop. They say the groom's family bows, the bride's holds her chin high. This time I get to gloat in front of old Vance. He practically frog-marched me out the door. Go on, have fun. Stay out all night if you want. I stared at the shut door, speechless. Nobody knew Dad's throwaway line would turn prophetic. Not only did I stay out that night, I moved house the next morning. I was about to start the car when Evelyn's texts arrived, several screenshot chats. Chase and Lana leaving the VIP lounge together after midnight, checking into Riverdale, checking out the next afternoon. The tabloid couldn't settle on a price, so they decided to publish. Chase's camp had always hinted he had a secret industry girlfriend. Vance suggested they simply go public. And Chase said yes. Zoe, is it possible the only thing you can't let go of is the guy he used to be? So Evelyn had seen through me all along. Known I still carried a torch for Chase. Known my stubbornness was only armor. This time, I really let go. Before, I'd told myself he was just overprotective of Lana, that their feelings had crossed a line without his noticing. Now he was letting someone else stand in my place. 5 years, and I'd counted for nothing. I opened WhatsApp and typed, "Pierce, want a wife?" Then I deleted it, too rash. His reply popped up instantly. No clue whether he'd caught the original. I was still fussing over an explanation when he called. "Got your ID on you?" "Yes. See you at City Hall in 30. Pierce, are you serious? If your question was, will you marry me, my answer is yes. Wait, marriage on a whim? Taylor, impulse is the privilege of the young. Feeling lucky? Bet on your taste and mine." I was already tempted, his dare pushed me over. Deal. City Hall, 30 minutes. To celebrate, we moved the party to his penthouse after dinner and drank ourselves stupid. Alcohol plus desire equals chaos. Conclusion, liquor is evil. In novels the first time is all moonlight and violins. For Pierce and me it was a disaster. Arrow knocked, bow drawn, only to discover both of us were rookies. We fumbled to a finish. I traced my hand from his chest down to his abs. "Such a gorgeous body," I mumbled. Lower still, I couldn't resist flicking it. "Looks grade A, performs like a C-," I cracked. He stared, mouth opening and closing, finally pulled on his pants and walked out, a kicked puppy silhouette. I wanted to slap myself. Gorgeous is gorgeous, even in failure. Turns out geniuses learn fast. He'd only been gone half an hour, I was limp until sunrise. By the time he let me sleep, the sky was light. When I woke, my phone had exploded. Friends fussing over Chase, family mining Pierce gossip. I lay there dazed, unable to believe I'd actually dragged the golden boy off his pedestal. "You're up? Eat something." I booked both sets of parents for dinner tonight. Pierce, clearly unfazed, probably because I'd drunk most of the booze. Last night's cringe playback had me yanking the quilt over my scorching cheeks. "I'm still asleep, count me out for tonight." He laughed through the blanket, patting my head. "Last night you were fearless. Thought you were experienced." That stung. Pierce got a pass, never dated, a bona fide rookie. I'd dated 5 years and learned nothing. Still, I had to defend my pride. Early on we were shaky, later we were stable but crazy busy. We met like spies, exhausted, paranoid, zero energy for romance. But that doesn't mean I'm not hot, got it? His grin widened, so much for the aloof iceberg rumor. Life with Pierce was easy, dinner with the parents even easier. The Sinclairs and Vances went way back. Our elopement shocked them, yet they toasted it. Pierce's mom snapped their heirloom bangle on my wrist before dessert. 4 parents plus Dylan and Evelyn bombarded me with gifts, terrified I might change my mind. "Hey, I'll take cash love in any denomination." Under the table I tugged Pierce's sleeve. While he pretended to listen to Mom's toddler-era blackmail stories, he laced our fingers and leaned in. I whispered, "Had I known marriage meant instant millionaires, we'd have done this ages ago." Never mind, we'd only re-met weeks, not ages, ago. His smile curved wider. "Kill me now." Dylan's voice cut in. "Eyes front, little sis. Drool later." I glared. "How did you land someone as sweet as Evelyn?" She just beamed at us. In that instant I knew I'd chosen right. Same tier, same values, 2 families who actually liked each other. At 20 I thought that was a cage and chased freedom, only to crawl back and find it was a harbor. My life upgraded from Dylan's pet to Pierce's pampered queen. The only new perk, married nightlife. Pierce had to fly to the States to finish off a deal and wanted me along. I declined, loudly and repeatedly. Jet-lagged all-night escapades aren't for everyone. Finally, blessed solo sleep-in days, until someone decided I'd relaxed enough. I woke to a string of missed calls from Emery and a landslide of WhatsApps. Too lazy to scroll, I rang her back. "Zoe, have you seen the headlines? I need you to confirm what's real so Vance's spin control team can earn their retainer." "What story?" My voice was still husky from sleep. "You haven't seen it? Then read it and call me back, I just sent you the link." "While it hasn't detonated yet, maybe we can squash it." "Okay, I'll call after I look." I skimmed at lightning speed. The gist, I was two-timing and being kept by several sugar daddies. The photos showed my brother and me leaving a mall, my arm hooked through his. Another shot caught me walking Pierce to his car, him pulling me in for a goodbye kiss. Classic case of one pick, infinite fiction. I told Emery the men were my brother and my husband. Have Vance demand the outlet pull the article or we'll file suit. Emery agreed without hesitation. 2 hours passed, Vance hadn't even issued a cease and desist. When I reached Emery again, her tone was helpless. Zoe, don't blame Emery, but your contract expires in a few days and Vance won't renew, so they won't lift a finger. And, Emery, what else do you know? She was a veteran Vance agent, and I'd always played nice. Even without a renewal, the studio didn't have to burn me. Something else was driving it. Word is Lana signs with Vance today. She told studio she recognizes the people in the photos and swears none are your relatives. Plus, I only just found out you're Chase's secret girlfriend of 5 years. He also assured studio you're no heiress, that you two just broke up and you're nowhere near married. Studio thinks clarifying for you is too risky, they'd rather freeze it out, maybe sit tight? Gossip dies when no one feeds it. Your name will take a ding, but it'll pass. Got it, Jordan, don't stress. I'll handle it. I knew Emery was stuck, and I thanked her for the heads up. Least I could do. Zoe, stay off the blogs, this stuff is mud, don't let it stick. Years together, and even though she knew I wouldn't re-sign, she still worried. I hung up and weighed my next move. The phone rang again, no name, just digits. I knew who it was, those 11 numbers had been etched into my brain for 5 years. The moment I answered, Chase's accusations spilled out. Zoe, what were you thinking, having Emery float a lie that collapses under a flashlight? Lucky I was there. Once Vance sued and you came up empty, the press would have eaten you alive. Chase, why are you so sure I'm lying? 5 years, and I know your resume by heart. If you were some rich girl, could you not afford a condo in the capital, stuck in Vance housing? No assistant, hustling for auditions yourself? And do you even know who you dragged in? That's Lana's brother, Dylan Sinclair of Sterling Group. He sounded almost paternal, furious I wouldn't confess. I figured when you refused to crawl back after our fight you had backbone. Turns out you just found another shoulder. Zoe, if you were going to beg, why not come to me? You know, an apology and I'd hand you roles, cash, whatever. Everything except a title, that is. Why didn't I? Because I knew the moment I knelt once, he'd expect me on my knees forever. I'd learned that in every war we'd fought. Plus, thanks to you, Lana's dream of making it without family help is toast. Now studio knows she's a Vance. Apologize to Lana, have her get Pierce to speak for you. He stayed silent, which proves he doesn't care. People really do laugh when speechless. I cut him off. Chase, every word you say is for my own good. Did you think of me when you funneled my contacts to her? When you and Lana spent that night at Riverdale? When you pasted our love story onto her in public? You wound me, erase me, then march in waving a rescue flag? If you truly had my back, why believe her and not me? Why is she allowed to hide her name in this industry and I'm not? Silence, then a sigh. Zoe, why so stubborn? Lana keeps asking me to stop you from lying. Once it unravels, you're the one who'll burn. I finally understood explaining yourself to someone who's already made up his mind is idiocy. Maybe I just couldn't accept that the man I once loved was unrecognizable. Coolly, I said goodbye. Goodbye, Chase. Goodbye to my youth. The public devours gossip. By noon the story had crested the charts. Netizens ID'd Dylan as the married CEO of Sterling Group. The man in the later shots, Pierce, had no name but high cheekbones, so they branded him my boy toy. The thread exploded. Comments ranged from, Zoe's career was decent, why steal someone's husband? How do you think she landed those roles? If the guy's Sterling's boss, won't his wife see this? CEO cuckolded publicly, how embarrassing. Old money marriages are open anyway. CEOs just inherit, no skill needed. Still, the green hat parade is brutal. Am I the only one who thinks both guys are hot? One smirky, one icy. Zoe eats well. That lone drool was drowned by bile. I lurked like any rubbernecker. Half a day in, the wave would surely rise again. Sure enough, Lana liked, then unliked, a comment predicting I'd claim family friend spin. An inside leak added, Sterling Group's prez is a Vance. He does have a sister in showbiz, ultra hush. Sherlock Netison spotted Lana's accidental tap, dug up a shot of us chatting at a rap party, and connected the rare surname. They spam tagged her. Lana finally reposted the photo with, "Lineage matters less than character, focus on the work, not the whispering." Saying nothing, and everything. They thought me disposable now that Vance had stepped aside. They forgot fiction can't smother fact. I called a friendly editor and confirmed Lana fed the story. Without an on-record witness, sugar daddy rumors remain mere tabloid rumors, like swallowing a fly you can't cough up. But why disembowel myself to prove innocence? There's always a simpler fix. I rang my brother's chief of staff. "Riley, call every outlet. I want every negative item on Lana since her debut blown up, today. Tell the press office we're holding a video call in 10 minutes. I'll lay out my requirements personally. Anyone on the team who worked on this gets a bonus from my own pocket this month. Sorry for the extra trouble. Right away, Miss Sinclair. I'll set it up. The surest way to bury a scandal is to drop a bigger one. Besides, a few blurry photos of me are nothing compared to the headlines Lana can provide. Lana's had A-list resources from day one and shot straight into the rising tier. At first the gossip mill spun every tabloid rumor you can imagine, until word got out she's the Shanghai princess everyone whispers about. Instant legacy heiress brand. I actually wondered about that. Before I ever stepped on a film set, I'd never once run into her. I decided to text my dad. I chose my words carefully. "Dad, you're absolutely positive you don't have a secret daughter out there, right?" He answered with a tsunami of voice notes. I didn't dare open them, tossed the phone on the coffee table, and went into the study for the call. After I finished assigning tasks, I left the rest to the people who get paid to be ruthless. I'd just found my phone again when my sister-in-law called. "Rein your brother in, he's gone full berserker." Turns out Dylan had commandeered the Sinclair Group official Twitter and was single-handedly flame-warring half the internet. Is he winning? Losing isn't in his vocabulary. He roasts one troll, Vance Legal fires off a cease and desist. He's on a caffeine high. The entire Vance Law Division's working overtime tonight. Knowing Dylan's lifelong kill streak, I wasn't worried. Let him vent. I'm grabbing popcorn. He doesn't have a personal Twitter, too much hassle, so he used the corporate account. Retweet 1, "This is my sister, same parents, same DNA." Retweet 2, aimed at Lana, "Who even are you?" Slapping South on your birth certificate doesn't make you the Vance spokesperson. After that he quote-tweeted every troll who claimed his marriage is for show. Now I understood Evelyn's eye roll. Under the banner of defending me, he was basically flexing newlywed PDA. The man's stamina is Olympic, 3 hours in and still slinging pristine, profanity-free insults, each one original. I QT'd his first post. True story, he took dad's surname, I took mom's. I hadn't planned to drag family into it, but if Dylan's lighting the match, the least I can do is add fuel. When I looked up, night had pressed the city flat. I missed Pierce so hard it felt like a bruise. Wonder what he'd say when he woke to headlines branding him my sugar daddy. Probably lift one amused brow and murmur, "The honor's mine." I used to crave solitude. Now the empty Pentown felt like a soundstage with the lights left on. My phone buzzed nonstop. Chase, Emery, Vance PR, even Lana. I let every call ring itself breathless. After tomorrow they'd all be too busy to chase me. I texted only one person. "I'm coming to you. Wait for me." Pierce asked no questions. He compressed a week's work into 3 days, then kidnapped me for a long weekend of no cameras, no scripts, no names. By the time we landed back at Riverdale, Lana's saga had already wrapped. High school bullying, early career boyfriend snatching, married executives swapped for bigger contracts, every dirty pixel exhumed and printed. Her resume as a rising was officially shredded. As for Chase, their joint go-public stunt had welded them at the hip. His long-planned leap to prestige roles imploded along with whatever box office heat he still had. A man who once stood on the summit doesn't reacclimate to base camp. Together they ended up nothing but glitter and sawdust. I asked Pierce over late-night takeout, "Think I overplayed it?" He was marking up term sheets at the kitchen island. He looked up, eyes steady. Feeling sorry for her? I thought about it, shook my head. She threw the first punch, then the second. I just returned the volley. No rule says I have to offer the other cheek when someone slaps me. He turned his chair, drew me into the V of his legs. "So the only thing bothering you is my opinion. Zoe, I never asked because I already knew your battle plan and I signed off on every line. I fell for the woman who saves herself, not the one waiting for rescue. This," he tapped the tablet still open to Lana's career implosion, "isn't overkill. Adults sign their own invoices. She's done it to others, she just finally picked someone who hit back." He was right. Scroll through any insider forum and you'll find her fingerprints on half the ruined reputations. That's why the avalanche buried her so fast. Too many people were waiting with shovels. Fame built on sand always sinks. The ones who last stand on character. I pressed my face into his neck. Pierce, I think I'm done acting. Because of me? I shook my head, remembered he couldn't see, and spoke against his collarbone. When I was little, stardom looked like constellations, millions loving you in the dark. Acting let me borrow other lives. But I've learned the view from the mountaintop, now I want the valley. Spotlights bleach everything gray anyway. I've lost the itch. Time for a new script. He tipped my chin, kissed one cheek. Remember, in our house only one of us has to work for money. The other works for joy. I snorted. You, forced to earn a living? Dylan will punch you on principle. I'm completely oppressed, he deadpanned. Childhood dream, travel the planet with you, eat every sunset. I studied him. So many of his blueprints already had my name penciled in, as if he'd always known whom he'd marry. Or as if whoever he married would inevitably become me. Funny, I used to think of him as background nobility, my brother's annoyingly perfect friend. From our first re-encounter, though, his love was loud, unruly, unapologetic. No matter. We own oceans of time now, I'll interrogate him later. Right now all I want is to say it out loud. Pierce, have I told you I love you? You chanted it a dozen times last night. Want a replay? He moved in, lips brushing my ear. I clapped a hand over his mouth, cheeks on fire. Bedroom declarations don't count. Seriously, I'm banning him from bro time with Dylan. Epilogue, Pierce. I've loved one girl since she was old enough to steal champagne off banquet tables. Sunbright, ruthless, utterly herself. I never breathed a word to anyone. I simply waited for her to grow up so I could ask. Fate laughed. I arrived too late. I thought that was the end, until her Instagram popped up on my feed. Matchmaking dinner tomorrow, wish me luck. I dropped everything and flew home. Watching her bicker with Dylan on his penthouse terrace, past and present overlapped so hard my heart skipped beats. I laughed, because joy outgrew silence. Time had turned me into a man, but it hadn't dulled a single watt of her. Thank you for listening. If you enjoyed the story, smash the like button and share it with friends. Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe for more. See you next episode.